passes which allow me to kind of pin him as we move. So obviously on Tuesday we were looking at this position, like the flip swap passing, eventually working towards getting upper body control, or we would kind of scroll in, head position, securing the upper body that way. Okay, what we're going to look at tonight, probably a little bit more advanced, but not too much. It's the kind of more tripod style passing. So again, it works off securing his upper body first before I've actually dealt with his legs. Okay, so one entry I want you guys to work into it very quickly, is just from half butterfly. So this is worth doing because if any time I'm playing like a pressure game that's leading me towards half guard, most people are going to pummel some kind of butterfly hooking just to relieve that pressure. The knee shield's good at kind of keeping distance for a certain amount of time, but it becomes vulnerable over time I start wearing my weight on it. Whereas the butterfly hook gives me a whole load of other problems because it's not only working as a physical blocker, it gives Cal better options to start elevating me. So if I don't address this as soon as it comes in and I keep trying to kind of power forward, now exactly you can start using that to load my weight and get into my hips. So work this entry to begin with, but after that you can kind of look at any other entries into this tripod style of passing basically. So the entry I want you to quickly look at, as soon as he's got the butterfly hook on top, I'm now no longer thinking about driving through and lifting my hips off my heels because that's when I'm vulnerable to the elevation. So I'm going to sit myself back nice and heavy on his leg. My hand on the outside is just cupping his hip, and I'm looking to kind of get my shoulder and the knee. So now Cal tries to use his butterfly, he tries to move me around. He's advising sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to get anything going. If you guys can't see my left hand, get in a position where you can. My left hand is just pinning his knee, and I'm going to use this pin to get a staple into my outside leg. So I'm pinning it in position where it is for now. I'm going to is your hip right? I feel like moving, it's twitching. Is it your hip now? I wish I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm fine now, don't worry. Do an athlete. Yeah, shut the fuck up. I'm pinning this in place temporarily, keeping my shoulder loaded onto the butterfly hook. And what I'm going to do is bring my outside leg in as a little bit of a staple. So there's going to be a moment where I lift a little bit of weight off Cal's leg, and that's why this hand is framing down to allow me to move my hips. So the weight's going into my hand just for a second, and I'm just looking to window wipe that leg inside so I can come to a staple. Even if he's managed to stay connected with his foot, you've got kind of long legs, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. You can eventually work it out with the staple after you've got it, okay? Once I've got this staple in, now all of a sudden I'm safe to go back to pressuring forward and lifting my hips up. Even with the butterfly hook, as he lifts me, so his leg stays in the middle. If you remember some of the headquarters passing, we can use it to stand straight with his headquarters if we want to. It's not where we're going for tonight though. I'm coming forward as I step off with my outside leg. My inside hand's coming to make an underhook. So as I bring him flat onto his back, I'm underhooking on this side. My head goes to the mat on the opposite side, and I'm looking to build my base up. You see I've got wide feet at this point in time, crown of my head on the floor, and an underhook on the opposite side. So if Cal tries to move around from here, what I want you to get used to with your partner is just kind of riding his weight, get him to try and throw some sweeps in the way, and you should feel pretty secure. If you feel like you cannot balance your partner quite easily, give them some feedback, make some adjustments. The key things from the actual tripod itself, my underhook hand, I'm either gripping the shoulder or gripping the neck to begin with, depending on where you can reach. And I'm flaring that elbow out a little bit, so I'm not staying narrow with my base, I'm flaring that elbow out, so he shouldn't be able to really use an underhook on this side. Tries to get that arm in. Yeah, you see how by flaring the elbow, he tries to get an overhook here now, sorry. That's quite easy, you can start compromising me. For an overhook, you can kill it that way, okay? Next thing that's important is my head position. So my head is going right across the mat, so my chest and the bulk of my weight is over Cal's chest, pinned in position. I'm also ideally on the crown of my head. Don't look at the floor, you start to kind of put pressure on your own neck. Keep a nice straight line on your neck. My other hand is staying non-committed at the minute, so if I do need it to base, I can base and I can steady myself. Okay? So all we're doing is getting into the position of the entry and just maintain that tripod for like 15-20 seconds and then switch off to bottom. Okay? Loading everything up, pinning his leg whilst I get my staple in. As soon as I've got that staple with my bottom foot, now I can take a big step out. I can work. Let's get up into my tripods now. Cal tries to move around from here.
Cool. And I'm going to reset. Don't write that for now. Anyone got any questions about that? Let's begin with. We're looking at finishing some passes off this, so very quickly before we go into that, the mechanics to kind of make it work. It's the same as for the guys that were here in the beginners, it's the same concept as working like that. Anytime I can pin Cal's shoulders to the mat whilst I'm sitting down, I can commit my hips to kind of lifting off without the wrist being sweeping in. Okay? Let's talk about it again. Begins then on Tuesday. If he's got space behind his shoulders, he can move around, he can disrupt my base, he can start to, even if he doesn't sweep me, he can start to kind of reset the position and get me back into the established start. Okay, so this whole kind of style of passing works. I'm able to pin in before getting past the legs. A couple of questions that went around. So number one, in terms of like which side your head and your underhook go to. If he has got a butterfly hook in, my preference is to always put my head on the same side as the butterfly hook. It's not wrong necessarily to go this way, you can still pass. The reason I like my head to be over the same side as the butterfly hook is the butterfly hook strongest to elevate me that way. Okay? If I bring my kind of centre of gravity in my chest across off to the same side as the butterfly hook, now when Cal lifts, the only way you can really take me is to the outside where the bulk of my weight is. If he tries to go back the other way, there shouldn't be anything there. Into load up, if that makes sense. So personal practice is to go head towards the butterfly hook if he's playing half butterfly. That's it. This isn't the only entry into this position, but it's the one that we're going to work with for now. It's the most relevant. It's kind of what we're going to do. So, we're going to look at a couple of ways to finish this. Once you've gone across and transitioned off into your tripod, you don't have to kind of rush from here. As long as you've got this position nice and secure, and Cal can't move you around too much, you can take your time. Now, so some of the easiest ways to finish, keeping this hand, like I say, not committed for the time being, so I want it to base if I need to. Some of the easiest ways is to start to lift your hips nice and light and pummel your legs. Okay, so I can finish some kind of a leg pull off. So what I want you to do for this next bit is get your partner on bottom to just try and keep their legs in play to give you a little bit of resistance. I just want you to get used to kind of floating your hips up. I don't know which way you go about it. You're just utilising the fact that your hips are nice and light and the shoulders can't move to win that leg pull, and ideally pass the mount if you can. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah, are you worried if he overhooks that arm?
Yeah, so this is the one thing that you can really use. If I'm lazy in my elbow position and he underhooks me here, you can definitely start to use this to disrupt my base, and then I have to kind of reset and go back into the pass.
What about the other side if he overhooks that?
Not necessarily. If he overhooks that, I should go into like a high body up, so I'll link my hands together, and that's even more miserable. Yeah, play around with that, get them to see the reaction. To kill it on the underhook side, which is the one that I'm worried about, and just flaring the elbow. That's it, you can grip the neck, you can grip the armpit, just flare your elbow nice and high. If he does overhook the other side, just take like either a wrist to wrist or an S grip, nice and high, kind of up around the top of his neck. Any questions at all?
If you can get your arms around that. Who said that? Fucking pig. No offence to any couples in the room, just in. He was fucking cold. You shouldn't be going out shooting innocent members of the public.
Innocent. Not guilty. Cool, give that a go. I'll show you a couple of ways you can finish the last. I'll let you go through them, give them both a go. Feel free at this point as well to use different entries in here, especially if you're like a little bit more advanced. You don't have to use this half butterfly entry all the time. Have a little think about other ways that the tripod presents itself. Essentially, for a tripod pass, all I really need is access to a near side underhook from my head to on the opposite side of the body to the underhook. That's it. That's the only criteria. You can even do it off like a double butterfly guard. It's just a lot harder to keep your hips up. And that's about it. So if you want to play around with that, feel free. Like mix your entries up a little bit. I don't mind. If you want to keep just working this half butterfly one, that's fine too. So the last little bit. Two other ways that we can finish this. Number one, if Cal's quite flexible, he's keeping this knee nice and high, and I'm struggling with the leg pummel. One of the reasons I'm not committing this hand as well as base, I have it here just to push. So it's really simple, it's not too long on that. You can just push the top of the knee with that free hand. Okay, so it can do more than one thing. The other options that we have really are knee cut variations. So There's an obvious one where I've got this underhook, my head's to the floor. Whenever I'm knee cutting, my knee generally always goes to the same side of his body as my head's on. So in this scenario, I'm going to keep the underhook where it is. I'm going to base nice and wide on that top hand, and I'm going to essentially do a jump out to my side, bringing that knee through the middle there. You see how my calf is quite close to my hamstring, so I'm not giving him an opportunity to grab back a quarter guard. This isn't the end of the world. I'd rather not deal with it. That's a choice. So I'm going to keep my hips nice and low. Can't forget that. Once I've dropped through into the knee cut, same as always, as soon as my hip hits the floor, I'm rewinding the hips and walking down the mat, keeping facing in the direction. Okay, so that's one way we can do it. So again, if I'm struggling to get rid of this for whatever reason, hand goes nice and wide, it's my outside foot that moves. Go that across the middle. From there, flex across feet. You walk the hips down. This is another one that you can use if he's managed. So let's do it from here. Let's get the opposite. You can find yourself on the opposite side. Not a problem. But you see how he's got a physical blocker in the way now of my knee cut, so I can't come across. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to jump my right knee this time over the top of both of his legs. So it's the same action. I put over the top of the knees, smash down, and then circle off. So that's if you've ended up with your underhook on the same side as a butterfly hook, okay? So then in this kind of scenario, obviously this knee is blocking my knee cut, that's fine. Take a big step out, bring my knee up, and I'm going to drive his legs together. So you've got three other options. Use the hand assist, traditional knee cut through the guard, or the smash knee cut over the top of both his legs.
You sure that first one? Sorry.
Yeah, there is. What, just the hand one or the first knee cut?
The hand one.
Yeah, cool. So if I'm struggling to get the leg pulled, I'm just using this outside hand to push the top of his knee as I lift my hips over. From there, probably set them like a 3/4 guard, so even if you grab the heel, that's fine. Push it through. Just pushing the leg down. Is that okay with that? Cool, now the last few that we're going to look at, and then we'll do some positional rounds. So give that a go.